dosage calculations. A lot. If you're going into nursing, you're going to be doing a lot of dosage calculations of all kind of things. So we can see a whole lot of things, but we're going to see like milligrams per milliliters or kilograms per milligrams or whatever. All kinds of rates and ratios. So lots of rates of what we're going to be using today in dosage calculations. So we've got 4 problems to do here, and we'll get to it. So the first kind of problem, a certain drug calls for 15 milligrams per kilogram per day and is divided into 2 doses, 1 dose every 12 hours. If a person weighs 160 pounds, how much of the drug should he or she get in each dose? Now, we're just talking about this one day, right? Because we're talking about the dose. So up here in this problem, we really just need the 15 milligrams per kilogram. So just think about 15 milligrams per 1 kilogram. Now, hopefully you're like, there's a problem, because this says kilogram, this says pounds. And you're right, that's a problem. So before we really know how many milligrams to get them, we have to figure out how many kilograms they weigh. So this problem starts with, we have a 160-pound person. I know that 1 pound is 0.4536 kilograms. Okay, so that gets me out of pounds, it gets me into kilograms. So now that I know how many kilograms somebody weighs, I can then apply this process of they get 15 milligrams of the drug for every 1 kilogram of weight. So this now tells me how many milligrams the person gets. So if I multiply this person gets 1,088.64 milligrams. But am I going to give that to them all at the same time? No, because we give 1 dose every 12 hours, 2 doses. So if I divide this by 2, this person is going to get approximately 544 milligrams in each dose. So depending on how many doses there are, that's how many they're going to get, how much they're going to get, right? You got to divide. All right, different type of problem. A drug has a concentration of 375 milligrams per 10 milliliters. Next question, how many milliliters, so X amount of milliliters, are needed for 1 gram? Because we're thinking about a proportion. But the problem is, this is in milligrams, this is in grams. That's not going to work. In order to set up a proportion, you have to be consistent in your labeling. So, if we think about this, let's go ahead and say, let's move milligrams to grams. Well, if you look at your cheat sheet in the metric unit, milligrams to grams, we're going to go left 3 places. So 1, 2, 3. That means I have 0.375 grams to 10 milliliters, as 1 gram is to how many milliliters? Now we have consistency, grams, grams, milliliters, milliliters. So now that we have consistency, we don't even really need these labels on here. We can just solve this proportion. Cross multiply, 10 equals 0.375x. Divide both sides by 0.375 and we would get an answer of 26.67 milliliters. Make sure you put your label on there. Super important to label your work. And number 3, a doctor orders an IV of 1.25 liters every 2 hours. So 1.25 liters for 2 hours. The settings for the IV drip are in milliliters per 1 hour. What setting should you use? So basically you need to change this, the one on the left, to the one on the right. So the first thing I got to think of is liters to milliliters. Well, if I look at my sheet, liters to milliliters, I'm going to move it right 3 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, I have an extra 0. So that's going to give me 1,250 milliliters every 2 hours. Well, now I have the milliliters, but I need that to be 1 hour. So in order to make that 1 hour, I simply divide, right? Think about it. If you want this to be a 1, if we divide this bottom number by 2, 2 divided by 2 will give me 1 hour. Math is about equality, so let's also divide the top number by 2, and I end up with 625 milliliters per 1 hour. So that would be the setting that you would use for milliliters per hour. And the last one, we've got number 4. The doctor orders 1.5 milligrams per kilogram of a drug for a child weighing 88 pounds. The drug is available at 125 milligrams for every 2 milliliters. How many milliliters must you administer? Okay, so this is real life crap here. So if you think about, first let's just talk about this up here. If you're 88 pounds, how many milligrams are you going to get? Well, the first thing we have to do is change our our pounds to kilograms. Just like we did in that first problem earlier. So 0.4536 kilograms. Okay, so that puts me into kilograms, and I know that we're getting 1.5 milligrams per kilogram. So kilograms cancel out, and I'm going to get a total of 59.8752 milligrams. Okay, well, it's issued, so let's say it's issued at 125 milligrams for every 2 milliliters. So if I need 59.8572 milligrams, how many milliliters is that? Okay, does that make sense? So we know that this is one ratio that works. If we know how many milligrams, we can figure out then how many milliliters. So we solve this proportion, right? Proportional reasoning is everywhere. Cross multiply. 125x equals 2 times 59 something, and we get 119.7504. Divide both sides by x, divide both sides by 125 to get x by itself, and x is 0.96 milliliters. Okay, and that's a little bit with dosage calculations and playing with rates.